So, welcome everyone to our midweek exhale. My name is Sharyn, and I am one half of the Exhale Awakening. She's there on my screen, but Marie is the other half of the Exhale Awakening. And this is our midweek exhale, an opportunity for you to pause, um, take a break, relax, um, just allow a little bit of rest into the middle of the week. Quite often we get going at the week and we just like keep pushing on through until we get to the weekend. And our hope is that this just gives you a little lull. That was the word I was looking for, lull. Isn't that a beautiful word? A little lull in the middle of your week. So, um, for those of you who haven't been here before, the rhythm of what it is that we do is that we have four different breaths throughout probably about 45 minutes or so. We have four different breaths, and they are interspersed with birdsong and silence. And the birdsong and silence bring, they bring you out of your activated element of your nervous system, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and they move you into your parasympathetic nervous system, or the calmer. It's like you're safe. You can just rest element of your nervous system, and that's what the birdsong and the silence does. The birdsong also has the added bonus of improving your mood, which is just great at any time. And the silence allows you, like relatively new science shows that it allows you to build new neurons, which is super exciting that you can actually build new neurons regardless of your age. So, yeah, we're doing great work when we have those two things. And then the breaths, depending, they impact us different ways depending what we do. So today we're going to start with breath awareness, which is just a time for you to settle and really begin that switch from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. We'll then have some silence and birdsong. And then the next three breaths are kind of connected, but we're separating them out. So the first breath that we're going to do is we're going to really concentrate on diaphragmatic breathing. We're going to really concentrate on you breathing deep, and we're going to show you how to do that and how to play with that so you can feel that. And then we're going to concentrate on really light breathing in the third breath. We're just going to breathe very gently and very lightly in and out through the nose and try and feel what it feels like just to not quite take enough breath. And then in the final breath, we're going to slow the breath down and really elongate the breath. And toward the end of that breath, Marie will invite you to bring all of these together. So the lightness of breath, the deepness of breath, and the slowness of the breath. Have I picked all of them up? I have, haven't I? Probably in the wrong order. But anyway, we're going to then look at that before we come back and then have a sharing circle. We only have one rule here, and that is be comfortable. So whether you're seated or lying down, whether you're on camera or off, whether the lights are on in your room or it's dark, whatever feels good to you, we invite you to a genuine space of comfort. And if there's no endurance in this breath work, if during the breath work you feel like you're in endurance, then if you need to move to get to just release some tension in your body because you feel yourself tensing up, then that's perfect. You move around if you wish to. We probably suggest you don't stand up, or at least that you don't stand up quickly, because you might be a bit unbalanced. You might want to vocalize. If it's comfortable for you to do so in your space, then go right ahead. But yeah, mainly just take care of yourself. You might need blankets, or I have a blanket under here. an old lady with a blanket on my knee. You might need a blanket. You might need to be able to take clothes on or off in order to just regulate your temperature. And all of that is fine. This is not like a meditation where you need to be in a particular pose. Now, we will give you guidance all the way through the session, reminding you of what we're doing at each stage. So you don't need to remember. But we have had feedback that it's helpful to at least know, because these sessions are all different, that it's helpful to at least know what it is that we're doing. The last thing I suppose I should say is this is breath work. So whilst our overriding rule is for you to be comfortable, that doesn't always mean effortless. You might feel like some of the breaths take a little bit of effort. And our invitation to you, I guess, is to at least try and to stick with it for a little while to see how you get on. But if it becomes too much at any point, return back to your natural rhythm and just enjoy being in the space and with the breathing together. And then maybe try again if you feel like you want to try again. The tracks are about 6 minutes long, so we're not going to be doing one thing for too long. That you couldn't, try, stop and start and give it a go. So I think that's enough said. So if you are comfortable, as I said, seating or lying down, we're going to begin. So just start by taking a deep sigh. So breathing in and then just sighing the breath out of an open mouth. And you can make noise if you wish, or you can just sigh with a whisper. And do that again. Breathing with a gentle sigh. And one more. Breathing with gentle sighs just gives your nervous system the indication that all is well. And for the next 40 minutes or so, we want to do that. We want to let your nervous system know that everything's okay, everything can keep. So whatever you came with, whatever you're traveling with right now, if you can pop it in a little box or a little basket and place it to one side, just knowing that it'll be there if you wish to pick it up at the end of the breath work, but you can rest here for a while. You don't have to carry it. And just begin to bring your attention to your breath now. Noticing, I'm not asking you to change necessarily, but you will. It's inevitable, but first just noticing whether you're breathing through the nose or through the mouth, for example. And if you can change that, maybe change that to breathing through the nose, if you have that available to you. And see if you can bring your attention to the very outer edge of your nostrils. And can you feel the breath entering and exiting your body? Maybe you can feel it moving into your nasal cavity, and when I do this, it feels like my in-breath moves along the top of my nasal cavity, and the exhale moves along the bottom. And see if it's the same or different for you. And you might notice the temperature of the air that you're breathing. It feels different on the inhale to the exhale. See if you can notice that. As you get used to that feeling of the breath entering and exiting through your nose, just begin to move your attention to the rest of your body. Maybe you can feel your chest or your shoulders rising and falling. Perhaps you can feel your ribs moving outwards as well as up. And whether you're seated or you're lying down, as you inhale, your body will get bigger, and maybe you can feel the chair or the floor, the sofa, whatever is holding you. Maybe you'll feel it as your body expands. And then as you exhale, maybe you'll feel little gaps, perhaps at your lower back, maybe behind your knees if your legs are supported. And just take a few breaths like this, noticing the space you're taking up, noticing how supported and held you are by the surface you're on. And adjusting yourself to be comfortable. Coming back to the awareness, the breath moving in and out through your nose. Maybe slowing it down just a little bit now. Only in a comfortable way. We don't want you working just yet. This is just awareness. This is just noticing. And we've got one more minute before we move into silence for the first time in this session. So maybe I'll invite you to finish this little segment as we started it with a deep sigh. And maybe another, we've got time. Then letting your breath return gently to its natural rhythm. And enjoying the silence for the first time today.
And as the bird song brings the silence to an end, just taking a few moments to reflect on the silence and how that felt. Was it long or short? Was it busy or spacious? And for our second breath this evening, we're going to do what's called diaphragmatic breathing, also known as belly breathing. So we're going to breathe into the very bottom of our lungs, deep, deep down into our lungs. A lot of the time we breathe up into our chest, but we're going to breathe into our lungs. And because when we breathe deep into our lungs, our belly moves, it's called belly breathing, but our belly moves because our lungs expand down there. So before we begin, I want you just to push out your belly. Just push out your belly and see what that feels like. And now I want you to take a deep breath and allow the breath to push out the belly. Just notice the difference. So you're not going to be pushing out your belly consciously. You're going to allow your breath to do that. And as we begin this, I want you to take both hands and place them on your belly with the fingertips just touching. And then as you breathe deep into your lungs, I want you to notice your fingers coming apart just a little bit. And as you exhale, the fingers gently just coming together. Maybe leaving your hands there for a while till you get used to that feeling of breathing deep into your belly. And just noticing the space that the inhale's creating between your fingertips. And focusing all your attention there. Bringing that inhale deep into your lungs. And there's no need to pull on the inhale. Gently inhaling and noticing the space that it's creating between your fingertips. Maybe just taking a second to notice, are there any other parts moving? Or can you isolate that movement to the bottom of your lungs and your belly? And finding your own rhythm. There's no particular rhythm here, just taking that inhale deep into your lungs. Keeping the inhale and the exhale gentle and soft. Focusing your attention on the very bottom of your lungs and bringing the breath there. You don't need to fill your lungs, just breathing enough. If your attention has drifted for the last 90 seconds, maybe focusing on that gap between your fingertips as you inhale into the very bottom of your lungs. Taking another couple of breaths deep into your lungs. And after your next exhale, just allowing your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. And rest in the silence.
And as the bird's song brings the silence to a gentle close, just reflecting on how that silence felt, maybe comparing it to the one before. Maybe comparing how it felt to rest after breathing in such a way. Perhaps your natural breath felt a little different. And of course, perhaps it all felt the same. And for this next breath, we're going to practice breathing lightly. So not doing, incidentally, what I just did there, taking a deep breath. So maybe take your finger and place it underneath your nose like a mustache. And begin to feel the breath as it moves in and out lightly through your nose. And then just try and keep reducing just a little bit at a time the amount of breath that you're taking in until you get to a point where you can barely feel it on your finger. You don't have to push the length of the breaths initially. You can lengthen later if you wish. But just breathe really lightly so the breath can barely be felt on your finger. And don't worry, it might feel like you're not breathing enough. And you might intersperse this practice with a deeper breath every now and again. That's fine. Just go back to the light breathing each time and see if you can practice it a little longer. And you might want to let your hand just fall down if it's your arms are aching a little, and maybe imagine in place of your finger is a feather and you're trying to keep the feather on your upper lip. Just really lightening, softening your breath, but keeping it smooth. So trying not to judder your breath, but try and make it like a gentle wave, in and out, in and out. Don't worry if you're getting a sensation that we call air hunger and you feel the need to take a breath. That's okay, just let that be. And then maybe practice again, practice some more. Lightly breathing, inhale and exhale. And see if you can do that for a little bit longer. You can return your finger if you found it helpful. And you can let the breath go and let yourself go to your natural rhythm if it feels too much. And if you let it go a while ago, we've got 90 seconds left. You might want to just try once more. Lightly breathing in and out through the nose. Letting the light breathing fall away as we move once again towards the silence. Letting your natural rhythm return.
As the bird song begins again, just taking a moment to reflect on that silence. Maybe each silence has been different. Maybe they've been exactly the same. And for our final breath in this session, we're going to do slow breathing. And slow breathing is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to slow our breathing right down. You may want to do this as coherence breathing, and you may want to count. Sometimes that helps, and you can count in your head, or You can use your fingers, bringing each fingertip to your thumb. And if you are going to count, trying to lengthen the count from maybe count you usually do. But you may also just want to feel this. You may just want to really concentrate on slowing down your inhale and slowing down your exhale. Again, without forcing or without pushing way past the point of comfort. So listening to your body. And as you do this, again, you may get that feeling that you really need a big breath. And take a breath when you need one. Take a deeper breath and then go back to the slower breathing and see, can you slow it down a little bit more? Focusing all the time on slowing your breath down. And inhaling and exhaling gently, finding your own rhythm. Keeping the breath as slow as you can make it. And maybe as you slow your breath down, remembering the first breath we did. And bringing that breath deep into your lungs. Keeping the inhale and the exhale as slow as you can make them, but now also focusing on bringing that breath deep, deep into your lungs. And using your hands on your belly again if that helps. Keeping the breath slow, bringing it deep into your belly. Now maybe remembering the breath we've just done. And if it helps to take your finger under your nose and trying to make the breath light as well. You've slowed down your breath, you're bringing it deep into your lungs. You're also making it as light as you can. Breathing in just enough, no extra. if that feeling of air hunger gets too much, just pausing and taking a breath. And then going back to slowing down your breath, to breathing deep into your lungs, and to breathing as lightly as you can. In the last 30 seconds, so really focusing on the slow, the light, and the deep. And as the music fades away, just allowing your breath to come back to its natural rhythm and resting in the silence.
And as the bird song brings the last of our silences for today to a close, it's time for us to get ready to come back into the room. But before we do, just taking a moment to reflect one last time, perhaps on how you felt when you arrived in the session and how you feel now. Perhaps reflecting on how the breathworks felt, or how the silences felt. We're going to come back into the room gently, Just bringing a little bit of movement, first of all, to our fingers and to our toes, maybe rotating our wrists and ankles. Perhaps we're going to go back to one of those deep sighs, maybe a yawn. Maybe we're going to stretch. If we lay down, we're going to turn gently over onto one side. Maybe in that position, we're going to blink our eyes open gently and take a look around. And the invitation is to gently bring yourself back into the Zoom room. But don't rush. We have a few notices.
And just as you gently come back, I'll do the notices. They're in the chat for people who are with us in the Zoom room. And if you're watching the recording, they'll be around somewhere. This recording will go up in the Exhale community, which is in the free part of our Exhale community. And the link for signing up is in the chat. And there's lots of things in there. We do a breath of the week, which this week was diaphragmatic breathing. There's a business section for people who are maybe in business for themselves. There's a section for teachers. And they're all free in the community. And you just click the link and join the free section. We're also on YouTube, but our name has changed because we're now the Exhale Awakening. And if you are a YouTube person and you are scrolling on YouTube, maybe search for us and even click on us, because it does help us in YouTube if you do that. Then our next workshops, our Deeper Exhale Breath workshop, is on Sunday the 14th of December at 6 o'clock. And that's our 3-hour workshop. And we're going to journey with the energy of the yew tree. And there'll be story and breath and birdsong and silence. We have an online retreat, and it's a short retreat, but we have an online retreat at the winter solstice, and it's on Sunday, the 21st of December at 7 o'clock. And it's a 2-hour session. And the link for that is in the chat. And Anchoring the Exhale, which is our 2-hour session, our next one of those is on Sunday, the 20th. It's usually a Friday, but because Friday is Boxing Day, we moved it to the Sunday that weekend. So it's on Sunday, the 20th, and the link is also in the chat. And we also have our directory listing, which we always put in because, yeah, if you liked what we did and you feel like you want to leave us a review, we love getting reviews. And the last thing in the chat and the last thing to say is Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are both Wednesdays this year. And we're going to have a midweek exhale on both Wednesdays. So if you need a break from the festivities or the madness or the chaos, we will be here at 7:30 on both evenings, and we'd love to see you. Oh, that was a lot of notices. So that's all the notices. So I'm going to stop the recording. And for those people who joined us on the recording, please be gentle with yourselves and drink plenty of water and do nice things for a while after you've done this breath work. Thank you.